Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Budirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Nigamakalpadarogargalitam Phalam Sugamukatamurta Drava Samyutam Pibata Bhagavata Rasamalayam Muguragora Bhuvibavukaha Shanvatam Swagataha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Hridiyantastohe Abhadrani Vidunoti Sugrutsatam. Hare Krishna, thank you once again for engaging me in this service. So today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, verses 17 to 22. So before we are going into our today's slokas, let us try to understand some small background about what is this going to be today. Basically, if you see for the last four chapters, specifically from chapter 25, we have seen how Narada Muni was explaining the material influence on the human being to Maharaj Prashinabari Barishat, otherwise he is known as Prashinabari Barishat. There, he was trying to get a metaphor and sort of an artificial example of a Puranjana, how a human being is attracted towards wife. What is happening? Attachment starts, and we have seen so many things in that particular chapters, how he was very much attached and how he was doing a lot of things and how he was enjoying the sense gratification. And due to that, he turns into a woman in the next life. That is how the chapter goes. Today, it is a continuation of the same talk between Narada Muni and Prashnabari. So now we are into 17th sloka. So if you see from 1 to 25 slokas, he is again giving the same metaphor of Puranjana, allegory of Puranjana. So what is that? How a human being is getting attracted and all. Then in between, from 8 to 16, he was talking about the 9 gates. In the human body, we have 9 holes, right? 9 gates that he calls as 9 gates, and through which how the senses are getting gratified, how the human being is using those things. Then from 18 to 20, he is talking about a chariot. The body is compared to a chariot, a rath, and that analogy is giving. So we are in between 17 to 22. So we will be trying to have some 3 different subjects today. And from 21 to 24, the Chandavega. Chandavega, we know that it is Kalakanya. We have seen in the last session also. Kalakanya, how the time is coming. The time here, it's death. The body, the chariot, how the body is getting old, and then how the Kalakanya, how the Chandavega is attacking the city. Because the city is, we are talking it about the chariot, right? So the body. So these things are there prior to that. So in the last few slokas, if you see, Narada Muni is mentioning about when he was talking about the 9 gates, he was talking about the eyes, nostrils, ears. These are all compared to gates, front gate, back gate, something like that he is talking. And also the tongue, where the sense gratification, where people are very much interested to taste, the taste buds to be satisfied, right? So that city, he is calling that city as Apana. Apana means how the tongue is engaged. If you engage the tongue into chanting of the holy name, that is different, but we are engaging. That city, the gate is used for sense gratification. And similarly, he is talking about the genital organs, Gramaka, that is the lower gate, the lowest of the gate, lower gate, which is used for sense gratification and producing children, all those things. And then he is talking about the rectum, hands, legs, all those things he is talking. And specifically, if you see in the last verse, he is talking about Antahapura. In Tamil, they used to call Andapuram. So Antahapura means something secluded place, which is heart. At the same time, it is considered as very, very prominent. So where the mind is mentioned and how it was getting everywhere. Because mind, we cannot control the mind, right? It keeps going to different places and which is enjoying the modes of material nature. So that is what is mentioned in the last sloka. So with this small understanding, we are going to have today's sloka. So from 70 to 22. So I'll be reading the first sloka. Yata yata vikriyate guna akto vikaroti va tata tata upadrashta atma tat vriti anukaryate yata yata vikriyate gunakto vikaroti va tata tata upadrashta atma tat vriti anukaryate. So somebody can read the verse and the translation. Purport we will read later.
Kusumalata Mataji, you can read the synonyms and translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
यथा यथा विक्रियते गुणाक्तो विकृति वा तथा तथोपद दृष्टात्मा तद्वृत्तिरनुकार्यते. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Formerly it was explained that the queen is one's intelligence while one is awake or asleep. That intelligence creates different situations being influenced by contaminated intelligence. The living entity envisions something and simply imitates the actions and reactions of his intelligence. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the summary of the verse, if you see what is it, yata yata vikrite gunakto vikarotiva, is talking about the intelligence and which is mentioned as the contaminated intelligence. So intelligence is having the quality of a purity, but unfortunately that intelligence got contaminated. So here the Puranjana is a male king. So when we are talking about a male, we need to have a female, right? So that female part, woman part, here it is referred as the intelligence. Why it is mentioned as intelligence woman is the intelligence that decides what action we want. If you see this particular portion of the intelligence, Narada Muni has already started few verses earlier. That is in the 25th chapter. He is telling Evam karmashu samshakataga kamatma vanchito abudaha. Meaning the mental concoction or engaged in the fruitive activities. Anything the mind is engaging for a result-oriented, a selfish result-oriented action. So that is all taken care by the intelligence. So King Puranjana, that is that analogy, sort of an imaginative figure we are taking, right? That King Puranjana is completely under the control of the intelligence. So how Narada Muni is explaining a human body, a human being, male or female, whatever it is, but here the understanding is just to have a comparison how the material life people are so much engaged for the sense gratification. So it is taken as two body, male and female. So here Narada Muni is telling that Puranjana is completely under the controlling of material intelligence. Suppose if the intelligence is used for spiritually, then you will not be under the control of yourself. You will be under the control of the spiritual master or the Supreme Lord or under the Vedic scriptures. But here he is referring it as a material intelligence, meaning completely under sense gratification. So thus he was cheated because he wanted to fulfill the desires of his queen. Like we saw that, right? Puranjana, Puranjani, where he was going and doing everything to satisfy this thing. So here he is talking about the intelligence which is controlling him. So when the living entity is in such a bewilderment state, okay, it is under the control of a wife or a material intelligence. Basically, in our normal day-to-day life also, husband and wife, they may be knowing it, how the wife wanted to control everything, or vice versa also. But generally what is happening is the wives, they dominate because they need to run the administration of the home and they need to manage the children, all those things. So thus, they are using their intelligence. That is, they are trying to control everything. So that is what here it says that intelligence is dictating a human being for the sense gratification. If the intelligence is very strong, then you can control your senses. But unfortunately, in the material world, it is so. It is not so. It is under the control of the intelligence. So various sastras are also advising that material convenience, one should keep his wife always satisfied. Even in normal life also, right? They need to keep the wife satisfied, whatever she is asking, whether she is asking gold or she wanted to go for a movie or she wanted to take for a hotel to have a good food and all, so many things, so that the family runs peacefully. Materially, they are running peacefully. I don't say it is spiritually they are peaceful. Materially, they feel like I want to enjoy more and all. So it is basically for one's own social benefit. One is advised to keep his wife satisfied. That's what Prabhupada is writing in the purport. So if somebody becomes servant of his wife, he must act according to the desires of his wife. If they are started doing all those things, what is happening is that entanglement in the material world. That means they are completely, it is like a trapped. The same intelligence, when we are during the sleep, it completely changes. But here, what is the understanding? It is a very high philosophy here in this verse. The same intelligence, when we are sleeping, how that intelligence is using is when we are at the waking up stage. That means we are not into sleep. Whatever we see, whatever we touch, that transforms in the sleep time. That means our intelligence during that time is also happening because of what we have used our intelligence during the daytime. Many people used to say, in the dream I have seen all those things they are talking, right? All these things are the impressions which somewhere they have seen. Either it is in their previous life or it is in the same life. Because only that mind, intelligent and false ego, the subtle body, out of the 8 combination in the total body, gross body and subtle body, where the subtle body, the intelligence is also a part. So whatever the intelligence has seen, it gets registered and it moves into the next body also. So the dream is the reflection of those things. Because of those things, the Atma get corrupted. Though not corrupted, it gets contaminated. Atma cannot be corrupted, it gets contaminated. It is like a pure glass, you put some dust into that. It looks like dusty, right? When you clean, the glass again reflects properly. So similarly here, Atma gets contaminated because of the intelligence, whatever we are seeing. So Atma here acts only as a witness. It just sees. Don't think because our intelligence are getting contaminated, Atma is also. But Atma, it becomes a witness because this mind is having so much of control. The intelligence is having so much of control. It is doing like that. That is what in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is mentioning. The soul is making the direct connection with the Supreme Lord. When we are talking about the hierarchy, how the senses, mind, intelligence, then the Atma. You all must have read that, right? That hierarchy. First the sense object, then the senses wanted to attract that. When the senses wanted to attract that, it gives the instruction to the mind. Then the mind goes to the intelligence, whether I can use it or not. So all this bodily function means it is the senses. So the stopping of the senses means stopping of all bodily action. So the intelligence has to perfectly behave. So when we are talking about all those things, it is sort of a civilization. It is sort of a discipline, how a person is going to manage. So a perfect civilization, if somebody is going to talk about perfect civilization, it is the civilization of the Atma, soul, proper soul. How the soul is engaged. Suppose you engage in the spiritual activities, then it is called a perfect civilization. Why? We are talking about a human being here. Human civilization we are talking. We are not talking about an animal here. Puranjana, Puranjani, all those things, Narada Muni, when he was explaining, he is telling it as a men and women, how they are unable to control, how they are engaged in the sense gratification. So, civilized man of sense gratification. If a person calls himself, I am very civilized for sense gratification. We know in the modern days, in the material world, people go with a lot of fun and they say, I am highly educated. My educated circle is calling for a party today. We are going to enjoy. So they are thinking themselves as very civilized culture, right? But actually, they are not above or they are better than the animals. Though they are above an animals in intelligence, but unfortunately, because they are considering the sense gratification as a civilization in modern day, they are equal with animals because animals cannot go beyond the senses, right? Animal don't have any better consciousness. They wanted to enjoy sex, they wanted to enjoy food. So they kill other animals and they take that. Beyond that, they cannot think. They don't have that intelligence to think. No, let me stop eating meat from today. Let me not have sex with other. I will stop. I will try to have some different consciousness. It doesn't have that one. Only the human being is having all those things here. That is what here our understanding is. Yata yata vikiryate guna akto vikarottava. That means it is getting agitated. Yata yata. Keep on agitating. A cup of water, you keep stirring it with a spoon. What happens? It keeps agitated, right? It keeps moving. Like that, the mind, the guna akata, meaning due to the mode of material nature, the three gunas, we are always in the prakriti connected with the three gunas, so we are stirred up to do what to do, whether to do in a sattvic or whether to do in rajo, whether it is in ignorance or in passion or in goodness. Thus, our intelligence are getting completely contaminated. So this is what the understanding for this particular verse. So students can read the purport, please.
Yes, Shri Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The queen of Puranjana is described herein as intelligence itself. The intelligence acts both in the dream state and in the waking state, but it is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Since the intelligence is contaminated, the living entity is also contaminated. In the conditioned state, the living entity acts according to his contaminated intelligence. Although he simply remains as an observer, he nonetheless acts, being forced by a contaminated intelligence, which in reality is a passive agent. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So in reality, it's a passive agent. So this intelligence is working as an agent. What you want to decide? You want to decide about the spirituality or you want to enjoy about the material thing. So we are moving into next set of slokas. It's a combined sloka. So I'll be reading the slokas. Dego ratastva indriyashvaha samvatsararayo akati dvikarma chakrashtri guna dvaja panchashu banduraha mano rashmir buddhishuto hrunnito dvantva kuparaha pancha endriya artha prakeshpa shaptadatu varuttaha आकुतिर्विक्रमो बायो मृकतृष्णं प्रदावति एकदश इन्द्रिय चामुह पंचशून विनोदकृत्. Yes, you can read sloka and the translation, please.
Varnalim, Shobha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji and Mataji,
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai, Sloka. Mataji, should I read all the three slokas?
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Dehoratasva indriyashva samvatra sarayaro agati tvikarma chakrastri guna dvajaha panchasu banduraha manorashmir buddhishuto hrindrindo dvandva kuparaha panchendriyartha prakshepa saptadhautu varudhakau आकूर्ति विक्रमो बाह्यो मृगात्रस्नां प्रधावति एकधा चेन्द्रिय चामुहु पंचसून विनोदकृत्. Synonyms and translations. Will someone read Mataji?
Just to translation, Mataji.
Translation.
Haribol. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Narada Muni continued, what is referred to as the chariot was in the actuality the body. The senses are the horses that pull that chariot. As time passes, year after year, these horses run without obstruction, but in fact, they make no progress. Pious and impious activities are the two wheels of the chariot. The three modes of material nature or the chariot's flags. The five types of life air constitutes the living entity's bondage, and the mind is considered to be the rope. Intelligence is the chariot driver. The heart is a sitting place in the chariot, and the duality of life, such as pleasure and pain, or the knotting place. The seven elements or the coverings of the chariot, and the working senses or the five external processes. The 11 senses or the soldiers, being engrossed in such sense enjoyment, the living entity seated on the chariot hankers after fulfillment of his false desires and runs after sense enjoyment, life after life. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji. So here Narada Muni is comparing the body to a chariot and he is giving a lot of examples, like he is comparing each and every part of the chariot. So the understanding of this verse is the body is the chariot. We all know the chariot, right? Rath. It is having wheels. It is connected with the horse. So many things are there. There is a seat is there. There is a cover is there. There are wheels are there. So the chariot is body and the horses are the senses. Because the senses are pulling us, right? What is to be enjoyed, whether we want to enjoy this or we wanted to stop that. So that is a comparison here. Horses are the senses and the speed at which we wanted to enjoy, right? The census says, I want to go to some hill place. I wanted to go to Switzerland. I wanted to go somewhere outside the country. Means you are planning something. So within this time frame, it is going to be summer, it is going to be winter. I need to go during this time. So it pulls, the senses are pulling. So at what speed it goes, the force, that is considered here as the time. We are going to have the Kalakanya in the back, in the backward thing, understanding. But here, the horse's senses and it is pulling, it is keep on doing something. I wanted to enjoy. So it passes, it runs, it is completely in the force. That speed at which it going is the time. It don't stop, right? If you are enjoying something for this particular festival, you plan something different. I wanted to enjoy differently for the next festival. I'm not talking about the spiritual festivals, material festivals. So many occasions, people are planning so many things well ahead. So this is how the time is passing. Then the two set of wheels is compared to how your senses are engaged. So the wheels, it is comparing for sin and piety. You can do a sinful action or you can do a pious action. So that is mentioned here. And the three flags are the gunas. Maybe you may ask, no, Prabhuji, in chariot there is only one flag. But here for the comparison, it is telling how the senses are controlled is it is compared by the gunas. The three gunas are compared and the connecting rods to have proper strength for the wheels, right? So the chariots are connected, cross connection between two wheels and backside connection. If you see, typically some X-like frames, on that frame only they will put the chariot on top of it. So these connecting airs are very, very crucial for the chariot to run, right? So there, this is a beautiful comparison which Narada Muni is making, that is compared to life fare. Unless you have proper life, you cannot enjoy, your senses cannot function, you cannot run, you cannot keep doing pious or impious activities. So without the life air, there is no life. Similarly, without that, the chariot cannot run. So that is compared here, the connecting rods. What are all the five life airs? We know that, right? Panchavayu, Pranavayu, Apanavayu, Vyanavayu, Samanavayu, Udanavayu. Pranavayu is completely an interaction of senses with the sense objects and their engagement. When you are having life, only your sense object will get attracted with the senses, correct? That is why the Pranavayu is very, very important. You don't have any life. Maybe you can see in the coma patients, they don't know what is to be happening, but still only the life is there. So don't compare that pranavayu. Here the pranavayu means the active ingredients to enjoy the sense objects and the senses. That is the pranavayu. Apanavayu, when we are inhaling, exhaling, how the breath goes upwards and also he is talking about all the different vayus here. Vyanavayu, that means when we are sometime exclaimed gesture, when you are showing, you will just show up and down like that, right? So all those things are mentioned here. Then the rope which is connecting the senses to the driver, that is the mind. The rope is comparing here as the mind, how the mind is getting connected to the senses. Then the driver is the intelligence. This is another important point. The driver is intelligence means the driver has to completely control the chariot. When he is taking the chariot outside, by pulling the mind, by pulling the rope, he has to properly manage the driving of the chariot. So the driver is the intelligence and the seat is the heart. Heart means that is the first thing you wanted to enjoy, right? So if your heart is, we know different symptoms of the heart, like different emotional feelings of the heart, right? When we develop such an emotions, it is the heart first gives you, I am so much compassionate. I am very much arrogance. I am very much envious. These are all the emotions. So the seat is compared to the heart. Then the two poles is telling happiness, distress. So all these things he is telling it. So the five senses, when we are telling the five senses, ear, nose, eye, tongue, touch, we know that it is a sight, it is hearing, it is smelling, it is tasting, it is touching. So all these things are compared here. And Jiva Goswami says, Samvatsara Raya, that is the chariot speed in the first line of this verse. If you see the chariot line, it is throughout the year the chariot runs, the body is functioning. It is looking for something, constantly looking for enjoyment. We don't declare, I don't want to enjoy. Of course, now people are practicing austerity in different religion, different practices are happening. Islam people during the Ramadan time, some 30 days, 28 days, they don't eat, they control. In South India, you can say Ayyappa temple, people don't do a lot of inauspicious activities. They will be maintaining purity. Then we also talk about Purushottam month, talk about Kartik month. In Tamil Nadu and all, they have a Margazhi month. So all these things is meant for pious activities. This is there, but we are talking about a materialist. Narada Muni has started this for Puranjana thing because Prashinabari was completely is a materialist. So that is why this all these examples are given here. So it may not completely applicable for a staunch Vaishnava, staunch devotee. We are talking about all this for a materialist angle. So that is what Jiva Goswami says. Throughout the year, the body is constantly, the chariot is keep on running. Year after year, it is running. Because it is going for hunting. The horses he takes. We have seen in earlier verses, right? He goes to the forest, he goes to the hunting and all. Because the senses needs different aspects to have. So in the purport, Acharyas are mentioning how the body is making all the attempts because the weakness of the intelligence. Mind is struggling so hard to get the enjoyment done. At somehow, at whatever cost it happens, I need to enjoy. So this is understanding. So this is a big purport. Maybe two devotees can read the purport. In between, there are some verses are there. You can just stop. You don't have to read the verses. You can only read the text only.
Okay, Prabhuji. Kripamayi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. The entanglement, purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. The entanglement of living entity in sense enjoyment is very nicely explained in these verses. The word samvatsara, meaning the progress of the time, is significant. Day after day, week after week, fortnight after fortnight, month after month, year after year, and the living entity becomes entangled in the chariot's progress. The chariot rests on two wheels, which are pious and impious activities. The living entity attains a certain position in life in a particular type of body according to his pious and impious activities, but his transmigration into different bodies should not be taken as progress. Real progress is explained in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. One makes real progress when he does not have to take another material body, as stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 19.138. Ita Brahmanda Bahiri Ananta Jiva Gana Chaurasi Lakshya Yonati Karaye Brahmana. The living entity is wandering throughout the entire universe and taking birth in different species on different planets. Thus, he moves up and down, but that is not real progress. The real progress is getting out of this material world altogether, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.16. Abharma bhavana de loka avattano juna mam upete tu teya punarjanma na vidyate. From the highest planet on the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. Even if one is promoted to Brahmaloka, the highest planet is in the universe, he has to come down again to the lower planetary systems. Thus, he is wandering up and down perpetually under the influence of the three modes of material nature. Being illusion, he thinks he is making progress. He is like an aeroplane encircling the earth day and night, incapable of leaving the earth's gravitational field. So actually, there is no progress, but the airplane is conditioned by the Earth's gravity. just as a king is
Hare
situated
Krishna
on a
Mataji.
Okay,
Anita
Mataji. Thank you.
Mataji, you can continue Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Dandatnan Prabhuji and Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Just as a king is seated on a chariot, the living entity is seated in the body. The sitting place is the heart, and the living entity sits there and engages in the struggle for existence, which goes on without progress perpetually. In the words of Narottama Das Thakura, Karma Kanda Jnana Kanda Kevala Vishera Bhanda Amrita Baliya Eva Kaya Nana Yoni Sada Fire Kadarya Bhakshana Kare Tara Janma Adha Pate Gyaya. The living entity struggles very hard due to the influence of fruitive activity and mental speculation and simply gets a different type of body, life after life. He eats all kinds of nonsense and is condemned by his activities of sense enjoyment. If one really wants to progress in life, he must give up the ways of karma kanda and jnana kanda, fruitive activities and mental speculation. Being fixed in Krishna consciousness, one can become free from the entanglement of birth and death and the vain struggle for existence. In these verses, the words Mrigatrishnam Pradhavati are very significant because the living entity is influenced by a thirst for sense enjoyment. He is like a deer that goes to the desert to search out of water. In a desert, an animal simply searches in vain for water. Of course, there is no water in the desert, and the animal simply sacrifices his life in an attempt to find it. Everyone is planning for future happiness, thinking that if he can somehow or other reach a certain point, he will be happy. In actuality, however, when he comes to that point, he sees that there is no happiness. He then plans to go further and further to another point. This is called Mrigatrishna, and its basis is sense enjoyment in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. So here, if you see in the verse, Acharyas, how beautifully they are writing, the sense gratification they are comparing to an animal in the desert is looking for water, right? It keeps on searching, searching, searching. Despite know that there is no water in the desert, it keeps moving. So similarly, in the human being also, there is no such happiness. Whatever you are enjoying is not a happy. Temporarily, your senses are satisfied. That's it. But they are considering that as a happiness and they are longing for more and more and more. But whenever we are coming to one particular point, whether it is a happiness or sorrow and all, then we are thinking about it. But when we are coming into happiness, what happens? No, I am not satisfied this happiness. I need to go further, go further, go further. For example, a student goes to the school, right? He goes by walking. No school bus, nothing. He goes by walk. When he sees some other students are coming in cycle, he is just looking for, oh, this boy is coming in cycle. I need to take a cycle to come for cycle. So he's, what is that? Expectation. He's longing for desires is increasing and he goes for the cycle. So he gets a job, he goes to the office and he sees his colleagues are coming in a bike. Then he says, how long I will drive a cycle? So I need to go in a bike. Then he takes a bike. He's keep on buying everything, like the gratification is not stopped. His enjoyment, his desires are not getting stopped. He goes in a bike. After seeing other colleagues are coming in a small car, he says, I need to go for a car now. Why should I go in a bike? Let me go in a car. He buys a car and he goes. And when he is going with his wife for a tour or something like that in a highways, if the car is going, small car is going, then he sees lot of big vehicles, something like SUVs, Innovas, something like is going. They are crossing him with great speed. So immediately his desire goes, I should buy a big car. So there is no stopping for the desire. It is keep on searching, 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 right? He buys a car, gets a big car, and one day when he is going to the car, suddenly in the morning he felt a chest pain and he rushes to the hospital. The doctor says, you have a sedentary life. You are not even going for walking. You are eating and you are simply sitting idle. So you need to start practicing walking. So he brought back to the square one, walking, where he started his life walking. So doctors are advising you have to go for walk. So the real happiness walking is to keep your body fit. So similarly, if somebody wants to really have the enjoyment in their life, they need to understand where I should desire, which is going to give me the permanent satisfaction. So that is our understanding. Now, the last set of slokas from 21 to 24, where how the time is attacking the body, that is attacking the city, the chariot, all these comparison which we have seen now from 21 to 24. Now here 21 is talking about the Chandavega. Chandavega, we all know that time, right? So how the time is attacking the body, meaning you are becoming old. The youth turns into a young boy, the child turns into a young boy turns into a man, the man is turning into a old person. So how the nine gates, the body which was enjoying, how it is all getting completely deteriorating. It is slowly diminishing its activities. Slowly, there are some changes in the body. It's all due to the influence of time. Similarly, the intelligence is also getting reduced. You are no longer in a position to ask for this desire. Your body is not accepting that enjoyment. Person who was eating some 10, 20 jalebis or sweets, gulab jamuns at a time, when he moves into old age, he cannot think about all those things, right? So that is, we are going to understand in the next set of verses. Now I'll be reading the sloka 21 now. संवत्सरश्चन्दवेगः कालो येनोपलक्षितः तस्याहानिह गन्धर्वा गन्धर्व्यो रात्रयः स्मृताः हरन्ति आयुपरिक्रान्त्या षष्टि उत्तरशतत्रयम्. Yes, somebody can read sloka and the translation, purport later.
Sureshwari Sudamayi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danda pranam.
Hare Krishna
Text
Mataji.
21. Samvatsarashchandavega kalo yeno palakshitaha tasya haniya gandharva gandharvyo ratraya smrita haranti ayu parikrantya shashti uttara shatatrayam. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What was previously explained as Chandavega, powerful time, is covered by days and nights named Gandharvas and Gandharvis. The body's lifespan is gradually reduced by the passage of days and nights, which number 360. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So here the Chandavegas, Gandharva, Gandharvis, what is the understanding of this verse is day and night. Gandharva, Gandharvis is day and night. And we have seen earlier also, it is 360 days, the soldiers, daytime 360, like that, na? How the year is compared. So the Gandharvas are day and Gandharvis are night time. Here the important thing what we need to understand is Parikrantya. Parikrantya is, they are telling it as a rotating. When we talk about a giant wheel, right? During exhibitions and all, we used to have a giant wheel, which will go up, down, up, down, up, down. That's a rotation, right? So similarly, here, the enjoyment keeps going. When he enjoys, when there is no option for him to enjoy, again, he is looking for some other means, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. So the enjoyment is not stopping. Next sloka is going to talk about the age part and all. But here, the body, how it keeps on wanted to enjoy is mentioned in the sloka. Now, devotees can read the purport, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Parikrantya means by traveling. The living entity travels on his chariot day and night during a year consisting of 360 or more days and nights. Life progresses is taken for the unnecessary labor required to recover these 360 days and nights of life. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So the life progress is taken. They are considering this enjoyment is the progress in their life. They are unnecessarily, they are taking, they are wasting their attempts because completely they are materially attached, right? They are not making any efforts for gaining some little spiritual knowledge. They consider, if I enjoy, so they consider that in the society, when you go and talk to your friends, this summer we are planning to go to this country, next summer we are planning to go to that country. So they plan so much how to spend the 30 days, 25 days holidays just to keep the senses engaged. So this is all useless. It is day and night they are planning, and this type of enjoyment is not going to produce any result as far as out of this 84 lakh species of life, the human being, they are simply wasting all those efforts. That is what the understanding here. With that, we are going for the last sloka for the day. Kalakanya jara sakshal lokashtam nabinandati swasharam jagre mrityuhu shayaya yavaneshwaraha. Somebody can read sloka purport,
Yeah.
translation,
Shripriya
please.
Mataji, the verse and the translation, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Kalakanya jara saksha lokastam nabhinandati swasaram jagre mrityo sakshaya yavaneshwara. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What was described as Kalakanya should be understood as old age. No one wants to accept old age, but Yavaneshwara, Yavana Raja, who is death, accepts Jara, old age, as a sister. Hare Krishna Prabhuji pranams. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So here we are going to understand about the Kalakanya Yavaneshwara, the time and the death. In simple words, it is time and death. So Prabhupada is giving an excellent comparison. Daughter of time is old age. So time, daughter means when you progress in your age, when all your ability, your health, everything is going down. That is a time, is the old age, and people do not want to meet the daughter. So everybody wanted to be always young, young, young. We know the story of a Yayati, right? Yayati or somebody, I just am not able to recollect the name. When he was begging his son to give his young age to him so that he can keep enjoying the life. So that is the condition here. People, they do not want to meet her. And the king of Yavana is death. The youth, when they wanted to manage that youth to enjoy the sense gratification, finally, what is happening is the Yavana, the youngness is going. When that sister, old age is coming, then the death is coming, which is destroying the world, because destroying the world means not an annihilation. The whole world is completely filled with sense gratification. Only time can annihilate them. Only time can kill them, kill that mentality of enjoyment. So Jiva Goswami is writing, death accepts the old age as sister for destroying the people. For example, this society is having 1,000 people, just for an example. All the 1,000 is completely enjoying. When you are enjoying, when you are killing, when you are getting death at the old age, all the 1,000 is completely extinguished from the society. Then what happens? There is nothing. So that is called the destruction here. So death accepts the old age. The sister is accepting the old age because the family is an adharmic family. She came into an adharmic family, only sense gratification, no spirituality. And he became the husband of, that is the death. This is how the understanding, this is how the comparison is Narada Muni is giving. But she is very merciful. The death is very, very merciful to Vaishnavas, because though they get the death, Vaishnava is also materially, they are also getting the death. What happens to them is their destination is properly decided by their spiritual practice. We all know that in Bhagavad Gita, how Lord Krishna is mentioning so many things, correct? But those people who are all materialist, what is happening? How Puranjana become a woman in the next life? We don't know what form we will be getting it. So that is the understanding of this verse. Now students can read the purport.
Krishnamurti Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Purport by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Encaged within the body, the living beings accepts Kalakanya, old age, just before death. Yavaneshwara is the emblem of death. Yamaraja, before going to the place of Yamaraja, the living entities accept Jara, old age, the sister of Yamaraja. One is subjected to the influence of Yavana Raja and the sister due to impious activity. Those who are in Krishna consciousness and are engaged in devotional service under the instruction of Narada Muni are not subjected to the influence of Yamaraja and his sister Jara. If one is a Krishna consciousness, he conquers death after leaving the material body. He does not accept another body that is material but returns home back to Godhead. This is verified by Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So what is here important thing which is mentioned in the purport is, before going to the place of Yamaraja, the living entity accepts Jara, old age, the sister of Yamaraja. Then you may be asking, so what is the understanding of this particular line? You may ask, no, Prabhuji, some of them are dying in a very young age. Here it is mentioned the Jara is coming as a old age, sister of Yamaraj and all. People dying in young age is not, when we take a percentage of death, very minimal percentage of death is happening at a young age. This is a generalized statement. The evolution of the cycle, death, birth, old age, disease, the repeated cycle, correct? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. That cycle is talking about. So what is happening? They are dying in the old age. So understand this is a generalized statement only. So death can happen mostly in the old age. So that should be the understanding. So even you are enjoying so many things, death is going to conquer you because you have not spent properly during your youth or properly engaging your senses and body into the spirituality. You may get a different body, which a Vaishnava is escaping because of his complete engagement in the spiritual service. So that is the understanding of all these four slokas now. So now let us try to understand what lessons we are coming to take from these verses. Through all these slokas, we understood about the intelligence. Here, Narada Muni is comparing it as a wife, woman, how a woman is changing the life. But in a modern materialistic, there are certain idioms, right? There is a woman behind every successful man. That is for a materialist. You wanted to progress in material life, but the same woman, the same intelligence, there they are telling if you are using your intelligence for your material success, your wife should be supporting you. But here, how to understand this is the same wife is a cause for your destruction in spiritual life. That is what, because you are doing everything. The wife is very intelligent, like in the sense material context, she is very intelligent and she is supporting the husband. She is telling you study this, you be this, I will take care of the family. All this, why she is doing it? Just for sense gratification. He can get better salary, they can move into a better bungalow, they can buy a bigger car, they can keep traveling in first class flight conditions, all those things. It is only for enjoying the senses. That woman is successful for a material man, but the same woman, the same intelligence is destroying. Your purified intelligence is getting contaminated. Intelligence by default is very, very pure. When a small kid is getting birth, what is the intelligence? How the child's intelligence is getting corrupted, completely getting contaminated is what it is learning from the mother, what it is learning from father, what it is learning from the society. So the intelligence is getting contaminated. Now we are trying to understand how to overcome the contaminated intelligence. So prior to that, we need to understand what is contaminated intelligence. Because like I told, the original intelligence, that is our original consciousness, is very pure, but unfortunately it is polluted by material contamination, which are influenced by the three modes. We all know that. That is the biggest lesson in Bhagavad Gita, which Lord Krishna is giving. Arjuna, when he was very, very reluctant, it was usage of his intelligence through the influence of material nature. He was keep moving from different modes and he was unable to properly use the intelligence because we lack understanding of the material world through the consciousness. It gets contaminated. Our pure contaminate, that is our pure intelligence, our inability to understand material world. We think materially, if I am very rich, if I am very powerful, if I am very beautiful, if I am very much educated, then you consider you are a big man in the society. You don't have any single knowledge about spirituality. Atato Brahma Jignasha, right? You don't know about who you are, what you were, what you will be. You have no such idea. Then the lack of understanding of material world and your position, this intelligence contaminated, it is called a material. It is like a small comparison. Prabhupada is giving very beautiful in one of the lectures. It is like a rainwater coming from the clouds, right? When the rainwater comes down, when it falls into the earth, till that time it is very, very clear. When it touches the ground, earth, it becomes muddy. It takes the quality of the mud. So similarly, this contamination intelligence is because of all those things. Our consciousness is completely polluted by three modes. That's what in Bhagavad Gita Krishna is telling. Purushaga prakriti astonai bhungte prakriti jan gunan. Karanam guna sangashya sat ashat yoni janmashu. Every living entity in this material world is taking different procedures, followings, just for enjoying the three modes of nature. Somebody may be very arrogant, somebody may be very sattvic, somebody may be very passionate, rajoguna. This is all what they are associating with. These gunas are actually evil. It is Krishna is telling it is evil amongst various species. How different species are behaving differently. These gunas are behaving differently because our lack of intelligence, how to understand this particular word, lack of intelligence, how we are unable to control our intelligence. You are walking in the road and you are seeing an ice cream parlor, right? Lot of advertisement, lot of attractive posters are there. Buy one, get two free, buy three, something like that is there. Three gunas, sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna, all the three gunas are looking into that. Sattva guna, by seeing that ice cream, it immediately says, no, I should not take this ice cream. I don't know, it is all contaminated, adulterated food they are using. It may not be good for my health. Let me not take that. That is one intelligence is answering. The Rajoguna intelligence is seeing, it goes to the parlor. Immediately it asks, it wanted to establish which is the costliest ice cream you have. Get me that ice cream. He don't know whether it will be tasting good or not. He wanted to establish that he is from a rich family. He wanted to project him as a very rich man. He goes and buys, he eats that. A person in Tamoguna goes there. He says, you give me all scoops. You mix this ice cream with that, some 7-8 scoops he is mixing and he is eating and he is end up having cold and cough and fever. So this is how an ice cream, Prakriti, Lord is creating the Prakriti, nature, filled with gunas. So how we are going to do that? It is like you are going to a big party. 52 items, 55 items are displayed in the table. They never told you, come and eat all the 55. The host is not telling you, eat all the 55. They have given you the choice. So the Supreme Lord is giving the Prakriti. So in the party hall, they have kept something as very organically prepared food made with millets, good for health. Something like that is there. But people don't go that side. They will go only to the fried items. How crispy items. Whatever oil they are using, they are not bothered. I wanted to enjoy the crispness. Similarly, Lord, when he is creating the Prakriti, he has told you everything. That SOP is very clear. Standard operating procedure is very clear for law of nature. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. But we don't have time to read all those things. Like 40 pages, 50 pages, a document is coming and it gives you a lot of conditions, do's and don'ts. We don't read, we simply sign. Then finally end up when we have a problem, no, I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know this. Similarly, Lord is giving us all the instruction. So that is the contamination. So how to overcome this contamination? So our understanding is why the contamination is happening is because we are unable to control our three gunas. How to overcome this contamination is, what is the contamination we are having? The contamination in our mind is fear of death. If you see Puranjana Prashinabari, death, he was very much afraid of death. He wanted to enjoy everything. So even at the time of death also, he was only remembering a woman. That is why he brought us a woman in his next life. So how to overcome this contamination fear is, Kapiladev is teaching Devahuti. She is telling, na anyatre mad bhagavata pradana purusheshwarat. So the terrible fear of death. This sloka is another complete set of sloka, but I'm just using only 2 lines only. The fear of death can be stopped until they understand whom to take shelter. If they are not considering, Kapiladev is telling about himself to the mother, right? If they are not considering myself as the supreme, okay? I am the original source of all creation. I am the cause of all causes. I am the super soul in all living entity. If they don't understand and if they don't surrender to me, the fear of death will come. If they surrender to me, the Supreme Lord, there is no fear of death. There is no contamination. You know, I am part and parcel of this. So I need to do this. Harim vina na mrutim tarantati. The cycle of birth and death can be favored only by the Supreme Lord, not by anybody else. Harim vina na mrityum taranti. Na mrityum taranti means only the Supreme Lord can decide which form you can get in your next life. It's all depending on what you are practicing. Meaning you have completely surrendered. So you have developed unflinching devotional service. Anya bilashita sunyam jnana karmati anavritam. Correct? Without any expectation, you are completely nishkama karma yoga. In simple terminology in Bhagavad Gita, he is telling prescribed duty, nishkama, no expectation, no fruits of expectation, no fruits, no results for me. I am just doing my duty. As a human being, what is your duty? You are simply doing that. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling. He is recommending one aspire to go beyond birth and death. They should not have any material possession. Here, material possession is not only wealth. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim is talking, right? Is selling. So this is how we need to develop our habit. When Mataji was asking Prabhupada, how should I be overcoming this contamination? So Prabhupada was telling, what is your name? So she was telling, my name is Jayasri Dasi. Meaning Jaya means what? Victory. So Prabhupada was telling, already you have captured, already you have become successful. Because you have developed Krishna consciousness. You don't have to worry. The victory is always with you. Only thing is our process is we have to progress. What is the real progress in life? That is the real progress in life is not a materially getting ourselves entangled or getting contaminated. It is God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, simple terminology. So if you are do not developing this consciousness, definitely this cannot be achieved. The same thing Rishabhadev was telling, advising his sons. Para abhavashtavat abdho jato yavanna jignashta atma tattvam. Atma tattva means what? Human being gets defeated in all his activities if he is performing it for material pleasure. Only when he is very inquisitive. Krishna says, out of 4 people who are surrendering to me, one is inquisitive, right? One who wanted to know the truth. So if a person wanted to know, all these things are mentioned in the Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jignasha. You need to understand about you. Who are you? Where were you in your earlier life? Why this life is like that to me? What is the connection between me and the Creator? You don't have to believe the Krishna immediately. At least you should think about, right? When you are seeing different type of trees which are giving different type of fruits, then you need to get some type of enlightenment. Okay, somebody has made all these trees. Why this tree is giving mango, this tree is giving apple, this tree he is giving jackfruit? How come? The Creator should be very much intelligent person. He has done same type of species, but everything is producing. This is the jignasa. This is what you should know. We are not telling you come immediately believe Krishna. At least you think about it. So many rivers are running. Why only this water is very sweet? This water is not sweet. It is little salty. Why so? So many birds are there. Why the feathers of this bird is like this? Why the crow is black? Why the swan is white? Who has done this? Did they paint themselves? This is the jignasa. This is, you have to understand. You need to then believe somebody who is supreme. Somebody is doing. These questions cannot be asked by cats or dogs. They don't have that consciousness. The consciousness is only with the human being. So if at all you wanted to know, we need to develop. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was advising Rupa Goswami, he is telling about the Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. You need to first develop the knowledge of one's relationship, Sambandha. Now you know the relationship, how to give the relationship, how to show your love because of the relationship. A child has developed a relationship with the mother. She may be giving a different type of affection to that mother. The same child, when he develops love with his friends, maybe neighbor sons, daughters, something like that, they will be showing a different type of affection. So how we are developing the Sambandha, Abhideya, prayojana, because of that relationship, what benefit you got. So when we are understanding about Lord Krishna, Atato Jigna Brahmasha, when I developed about the Brahman knowledge, Jignasa about Brahman, about the Supreme Lord, about myself, yes, I know that he is the person. Then he is a Superman. He is the superior. He is much having lot of qualities than anybody else which I have seen. He doesn't have anybody equal. Nobody is superior to him. Then how you will develop, what you will develop with him, how your relationship will progress. When you establish that, what is the prayojana, what is the benefit you are getting? He is giving that contamination, the intelligence is completely taken out. If nobody is understanding the Vedanta Sutra, the principles, it is waste of time. Dharma swa anushtitaha pumsam vishwakshena katashuya na utpate yadiratim srama eva hai kevalam. Srama eva hai kevalam. All your efforts are waste. So if you wanted to come out from this contamination, if you wanted to purify your intelligence, it is complete surrender. Otherwise, what will happen is we will be completely going out. So when Krishna was giving so much of advices in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, he has given so many yogas. He had spoken about a lot of things about him. Then finally, he was telling, Arjuna, I have told you everything. Ye yata mam, not ye yata mam. Ye yata mam prapatyante, we know that. Depending on the type of surrender, Krishna is going to reward them. But here, after explaining everything to Arjuna, Krishna was telling, it is up to you to take all my advices, whether it is okay for you or you wanted to follow what you thought. So similarly, human beings, we get such type of philosophical understanding from various acharyas, through Srila Prabhupada, through other acharyas, but we are unable to accept it. We are still feeling, no, I wanted to enjoy the sense gratification. Like Krishna says, iti te jnanam akyatam guhyataram maya vimarshaitat aseshena yate chashi tata guru. Yate chashi tata guru. It is up to you, Arjuna, whether to accept my teachings or not. So human being having known with the contaminated intelligence what is going to happen in their life, uncontrollable repeated birth cycle without knowing which form we are going to attain in our next birth, it is up to the human being to understand which knowledge I should get, how to purify my intelligence. So this is the understanding for these 4 slokas today. So with that, I'll be ending the session. So if you want to have any doubts or you want to add any points, we will wait. Hare Krishna. Any doubts? Okay, Mataji, you can end the session if no doubts.
Yes, Prabhu, there are no doubts, Prabhu. So
Hare
with your
Krishna
permission,
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, after hearing all these classes,
Yeah.
the thing is, so we must be always in Krishna consciousness.
No doubt.
We must not spend even a single minute other than this. We are not supposed to be in material attraction.
Yeah.
So then only we can be, or otherwise there were so many chances to fall down, especially
Definitely.
particular in this material world.
Yes,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare
So
Krishna.
we have to get determined to be
Determined.
in this. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Okay, Mataji, thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarupayasya kripas. You have any prayers for ending prayers or you can finish?
no, same Prabhuji, Vancha Kalpatarupyas.
Vancha kalpatarupayasya kripa sindhu bhevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam Granthara Ashriki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnavrinda ki Jai Jai Gaushitana Primanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna
Prabhu.
to all
Hare
devotees.
Krishna.